Alright, so my talk's on like stories from phishing jobs that we've done last year. Gonna have to whiz through them because I've done too many slides, but basically I've got 3 stories. Hopefully you all know what phishing is. We'll just quickly whiz through this, get to the good stuff. So first one's about how actual intranets are actually useful when you're doing social engineering jobs. So basically the test was to test susceptibility to phishing attacks and their IT teams to respond to it. And basically it was part of a phishing, like physical breach, so basically we were actually breaking into their offices. Our plan was to target their external login interfaces, basically impersonate their extranet login page, and then basically capture creds and use those creds to log into the SSL VPN, and then do the root dance and use it to get onto their actual building. So we cloned their intranet page, and then we sent a pretty simple email, just due to essential maintenance, you're required to log in with using your username creds to our domain that closely resembled theirs. It basically just had a hyphen on the end in between a letter. Any of you probably noticed it. And we actually ended up getting a lot of creds within like minutes of sending the emails. So we used the creds, got access to the OWA and the SSL VPN. From there we found instructions in the mailboxes on how to connect to their VPN. Other stuff as well, like certain systems they had which were pretty interesting. So from there we connected to their VPN, scanned for easy common ports, looking for easy routes, and then we found MS SQL, basically default creds, blank password for SA, logged in, and MySQL service running with domain admin privileges, so pretty much game over on the first day. And then from there we started nipping around their network and went onto their intranet, and their intranet was pretty interesting because of the access card requests. So you can request access cards for new employees or like visitors and stuff like that. So we made a fake request access, got a card, turned up on the day, had a chat with the receptionist, and one problem is you meant to upload an actual picture. Like you can see there's the actual attachment thing. We didn't realise this, so I ended up getting caught. But a colleague of mine basically tailgated anyway to get in, and then went about it because it was they had several offices. We basically went to another one, did the same thing. Other useful information on their internet was who their providers were. So put on a red polo t-shirt, rock up with red keyboard. I'm here to have a look at fire extinguishers, walk around, check some numbers. Can I plug into somewhere just to get in access to send some emails? A lot of time people don't care. You're on the network, you can do what you like. So yeah, there's some pictures of us wandering around their offices. Actually found an unlocked workstation. Decided to plug a keylogger in, lock the workstation, walk away, come back in about 20 minutes. Someone's logged in, left it unlocked again, but we've caught their creds as well. So basically what was learned from that, intranets are actually really useful for business and attackers because they could tell us because they could tell us a lot of information, like their policies and procedures for visitors, their badges and their layouts. Like this company did security training before, and they had a whole slide deck on what colour lineage people should have, what types of badge. Really useful for us. We had a printer, we just print stuff off at the hotel, and we were gone. Building layouts as well. They're third-party providers. So basically what they should do is 2-factor authentication on their external logins, as well as using certs rather than usernames and passwords as well. It's because basically you can use a lot of login interfaces, you can use CSRF to basically bypass it and log yourself in if you capture their 2-factor auth. So why do we need? Next one was why you need 2-factor auth again, kind of along there. Again, this is a physical breach with phishing assessment, yada. Basically this time we were going to steal creds using OWA, log into a mailbox, send a nice email to reception saying there's 2 visitors coming, and create a backstory and then gain access to a network again. So OWA, they were running 2007, really out of date. So we cloned that and then sent a nice email with basically new migration. If you don't log in before this date, any accounts over 2 months will be deleted or disabled. And yeah, we got quite a few. It was quite useful. So then we logged into one of the compromised mail accounts, and we basically sent this email down here. And I was doing it with a colleague of mine called Miffin. and when he actually writ the email, he was kind enough to sign it, "Thank you, Miffin." But the reception desk, which we sent the email to, didn't actually pick this up and still gave us access. So next day, we've got our fobs and our visitor badges. We went to a meeting room and basically logged in within 20 minutes with domain admin. We found, basically, did a port for 8080, found it basically as an SVN server with default cred. So I tried admin password, logged in. I was like, that's a bit odd. So I tried RDP, okay, local admin. And then managed to find out they had a weak service. I think it was a backup service in this one. Basically was running. So created a domain admin and we're off. So that's that one. So basically what did we learn from there? Looking for contacts like reception or meeting room, stuff like that when you compromise a mail account. It's really useful because you can actually use those to book a meeting room or book people in rather than emailing an individual, which is helpful. And another top tip is, if they don't have OWA accessible, you might be able to just log in using Outlook's wizard, because even though you can't see OWA, you can still probably access Outlook that way, unless you're using Lotus Notes. But that takes us on to story 3. So this one was test users' abilities, like susceptibility to a phishing attack, but on this occasion we took a white box approach due to some security measures which the client had in place. So we thought of 2 different ways to steal creds. We did employee benefit scheme, like a fake one, and a new OWO rollout, which at the time we didn't realise, but they're actually using Lotus Notes, so that's quite helpful. And basically we wanted to get shells and remote access to the boxes. So why was it white box? Because it was time limited and they had a number of technologies in place. They took a whitelisting approach to web filtering. They had application whitelisting in there running on all their like client laptops and stuff, and they also had AV and a host-based firewall using Sophos, and trend macros into WebScan, which is like TMG if everyone's come across that before. But where's the fun in that? You know, you want to bypass all the technology and get to the users. So we did OWO, went 2010 this time, sent exactly the same emails we used before. Still works, just changed the dates. And so some of the victims were actually kind enough to reply to us with some screenshots saying they get this untrusted SSL error. Oh, you know, we sent them a nice reply. Oh, it's fine, just click through it. Actually, a majority of people just click through it anyway, which was quite nice of them. And then sometimes people just don't want remote access. So this guy here was basically, I think this is a waste of time as I don't have a works device to read my emails on. So I replied like, oh, this should work from anywhere. Have you tried logging in? And he goes, hi Shaun, why would I? Trying to check my work email when I'm away from work. I switch off from work the minute I leave site and enjoy my free time. I decided, yeah, there's no point going on with this guy. So, but you know, sometimes you get some really odd questions. Like this guy wanted to know if you could access it in an internet cafe in Iraq. I was like, okay, it's a bit odd. And then you do get other people that just want access real bad. This guy emailed us a good few times and he was like, the link took me to company website, which didn't work, which is the whole point. And then I was like, oh, I'll look into it and I'll get back to you. And he sent me an email about half an hour later and it's just like, when are you planning on doing this? By the way, he was head of something, so it was quite important. So I was like, got several emails off him, so we decided we were going to take a bit of fun with this guy. So we told him we'd need remote access to his machine, and we decided we jacked up a website. It was actually Rich's idea, which is pretty good, and to run, basically we had a malicious batch script that dropped a payload for us, and then he moaned it didn't work, but in actual fact we had him, which is quite nice. No, he didn't know anything. And then so one of the ways we were getting a shell on this job was basically we had a payload of DNS cat and in-house custom reverse shells that we've written, and basically we used a malicious macro to drop the payload, and then basically we got users to enable the macros by doing an asset register. Okay, and basically we writ macros in there that automatically fill in certain fields because everyone's lazy. They'd run the macros. Also, it's worth noting we had Leet in our phone number as well. So we sent this email out. Blah blah blah. It's really not that interesting. But yeah, we managed to get quite a few shells back, which were quite nice. And DNS cat is worth mentioning if it changes. No. So, oh yeah, one of the things that was a good point on this was always make sure you have valid email addresses and phone numbers on your phishing emails, and then that way you can use that to do different attacks. And like, you know, it could mean the difference between getting some creds or getting a shell, because everyone likes to run stuff for you. But you know, so on one of the jobs we didn't actually set up one of the accounts, but you know, users were still nice enough to forward on the delivery failure report to us, just saying, oh yeah, can you forward this on to Shaun? I can't get through to him. And the website's not working. Oh, didn't realise. Basically, DNS shells are not stable in terms of when you're using them on an actual test. They like dropping out quite a lot. So basically, the white box approach is getting a lot more beneficial for phishing tests, because it saves a lot of time and playing around figuring out what payloads are going to work and how to bypass stuff. It's a really nice way of doing it, and benefit of writing your own custom shells and of course imagination when you're doing it is basically the best way of bypassing stuff like application whitelisting and whitelisted web apps as well, which is good. And that's it. Cool. How do I do? Whew, got a minute left. Any questions?
Any story about IT response that actually worked?
So, what one? Sorry.
Any stories about IT response that actually worked?
Oh, what, them responding to us? Yeah, with so basically we have, when we do phishing jobs, we normally get it so their IT team will know about it, or a member of their IT team will know about it. And basically on the first story, when they realised what had happened, by that time we already found the weak MS SQL and stuff, they decided they were going to think about shutting down the VPN, and because it's like a commercial company, the IT manager who knew about his testing decided straight away he'd just tell his IT team and like tell them straight away. But they only had about four like people report it out of about 200-300 people that we targeted. It's also like we're finding the numbers change from company to company a lot of the time. So like last week we got 35 out of 40 shells back, which is quite a lot of shells if you think about it. Whereas before we've had like 1 out of 50. It varies from company to company, and that's like the benefit of like security awareness training and stuff like that. Make sure your employees are aware of the risks and doing testing like this. But yeah, sorry.
But you always get at least one.
Yeah, which is more than enough for us, kind of thing. Yeah.
So, when you've run your campaigns, are you mostly using OWA as the example, or have you found one that works better than another?
We do like various ones, but OWA seems to just work a lot because everyone knows about it and like knows what it is. Even people using Lotus Notes seem to want to use it as well. So it's one of those things. Anyone else? Oh.
What's your professional opinion then on using OWA?
Don't use it.
Can I quote you?
Sure. Its best approach is to use Citrix and then basically use two-factor auth with a cert and basically do it through that way, because you're basically allowing access to your network through like a controlled area, whereas OWA is just username and password. I've had jobs before where OWA has been basically their internal account policy didn't lock accounts, so you could just brute force people's passwords and get access to OWA easily. So OWA is kind of like big risk to have open, if you know what I mean, from a security perspective. Anyone else?
We're out of time on that.
Alright, cool. Can I just say thanks to Rich?